All right, here we are. We back at it. Okay. Let me plug the joint right quick. I know some of y'all saw the title. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, nigga, what the fuck is he?
Yeah, you about to find out. You're about to find out why men should stop talking about masculinity. Now, when I play this clip, right, and if for any of you guys that have any astute awareness and observation and attentive listening skills, when you hear this buffoon talk and you hear how he talks about masculinity in relation to trauma and all of that, it's going to be like, what is this dude talking about, right? So one of the things I want guys to understand, let me just read this real quick. The topic of masculinity or the foundation of manhood is not always in correlation with women. Most men are ill-equipped to speak on masculinity and manhood because they speak as if masculinity is synonymous with women. The game is not about women. Now, the byproduct of being a man who is not masculine can manifest itself in dealing with women, just like the byproduct of being a masculine man and having a masculine identity can manifest itself when it comes to dealing with women. But just manhood and masculinity, that can stand by itself without women. Because every aspect of your life, right, if you're not a masculine man, if you're not a man, if you don't have the foundation of manhood, you're going to fuck up, right? But it has nothing to do with women just in and of itself. It can stand alone without women, right? I want guys to understand that. And let me just say this. For those of you who are not subscribed to the Bad Boy membership or the Masculine Identity membership.com, you need to get on that, especially if you can't be there in Florida and Miami, October 26th.
October 26th. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got that shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I probably didn't even save it. Of course I didn't. So real quick, and if you could put the link to the Eventbrite so I can say that shit and make sure that
I'm put it right now.
So if you're not going to be there in Miami, October 26th, right, at least get on either Miles's joint or Lucario's joint. So that way you can actually see the totality of the Game Kings to the definition of man, right? Let me see. Let me snatch this shit the fuck up. And the reason why you need to see that is because when we were speaking on masculinity and manhood, rarely did we mention fucking women.
Exactly.
Because the game has nothing to do with women. Okay, hold on, let me throw this joint in there right there. Let me. I like the way April got it up. I said April. Renee, my bad. See. Hold on, real quick. No, that one right there. All right, right there. Right. So, guys, again, manhood or masculinity is not always synonymous with dealing with women. It can be, but not always. And we have to be careful as men when we speak about manhood and masculinity to make the separation when need be, right? And the separation needs to be there because in order for you to, and again, shout out to Miles for the masculine identity, your identity has nothing to do with women at all, right? So that's why the separation of manhood and masculinity has to be there so you can get in touch with who you are as a man, right? Now, if you want to talk about dealing with women, relationships, marriage, fatherhood, and things of that nature, then we can bring them together and we can speak on the benefits of being a masculine man, just like we can speak on the consequences of not being one as it relates to dealing with women. But we need to make a clear separation in some cases so guys don't get it fucked up and confused. And real quick, the link is right there. Renee put the link up there for the Eventbrite joint. Y'all go ahead and copy and paste that. Shout out to the homie Joe Blaz with the 5. Respect, brothers.
What's going on, Joe Blaz?
So fuck it. Let's go ahead and get into this shit right now and play this clip. Guys, I need you guys. I know Miles is going to listen because Miles is always on point. But I need you guys to listen to what's being said. We're just going to get into it.
Men and women experience trauma differently. When a man experiences trauma and overcomes trauma, he becomes a masculine man. A masculine man is more valuable to a woman. When a woman experiences trauma, The only way she can overcome it is by taking on more masculine traits. So she becomes a more hardened woman for her future man. Because the only way you can overcome trauma, you have to take on masculine traits. You got to be a little bit more non-agreeable. You got to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more dominant. And inherently, men just view those traits in society. Human beings, we view that as masculine. The more things...
Have a good man.
It's not saying that she's not deserving of a good man.
2 minutes earlier.
When you're at my age, you're more cautious.
You even admitted it recently when you said that an older woman like me, I have to be a little bit more cautious. Well, god dang, that's more walls that you have up that I gotta break down because another put you through some stuff that made you put them walls up.
Okay. Now, some of y'all might hear that shit and be like, I don't see nothing wrong with what he said. I'm going to break down with what he said and why everything is fucked up with it. Number one, here is the problem, and both men and women get this fucked up on the internet. People don't know what trauma is. Okay, so let me break down. Hold on. I got y'all. So let's break down what trauma is, right? And shout out to Lucario, because Lucario was talking about words. He did a live stream and he was talking about the importance of words and how you just can't recreate the definition of shit to fit your narrative. So hold on, let me do this right quick. We're gonna break this shit down today. Okay, add that. Okay, so this is what trauma is. Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event, like an accident, crime, or natural disaster. Trauma has nothing to do with a woman doing you dirty in a relationship because your little heart got broke. For women listening, trauma has nothing to do with a man cheating on you and hurting your fucking feelings. Now, what I will say is, we're talking about trauma, an accident, a crime, or a natural disaster. So let's break down what trauma is, right? I mean, what the different types of trauma. Violent or sexual assault. That's traumatic. Who is more likely to experience violence or sexual assault in a relationship? Women, right? Also, another type of trauma, life-threatening illness or serious injury. Who's more likely to experience a serious injury in a relationship? Women, right? Not to say that it don't happen to men, but women, right? The traumatic loss of a loved one or someone close to you, witnessing violence, crime or accidents, natural disaster, childbirth. Men ain't having no kids. Women, right? Suicide attempt. Now, a lot of things associated with trauma in many cases have nothing to do with relationships.
Right.
Nothing, right? So when he was speaking about trauma, he said, any man who overcomes trauma is now a masculine man. That makes no sense. So if I get into a car accident and I overcome that, am I now a masculine man? So I have to experience some type of trauma to become a masculine man? Nonsense, right? And he was trying to recorrelate relationship issues. That's where he's fucking it up. He's trying to correlate the shit that men go through in relationships with the shit that women go through in relationships. And the woman said, I have to be cautious. Her being cautious has nothing to do with her being a masculine woman. Right? It has everything to do with, I've been lied to, I've been manipulated and deceived in relationships. So now I'm more cautious. I'm no longer as gullible and naive as I once was when it came to me wanting to believe what a man is telling me. Now I have to pay attention to how he's behaving in conjunction with what he's saying out of his mouth. That has nothing to do with masculine traits or masculinity. Miles, you want to speak on that, bro, before we get into this?
No, keep going, because I'm yeah.
Okay. So he was talking about a woman becoming hardened.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I agree with that premise, right? But that has nothing to do with her necessarily being a masculine woman per se, right? When you say hardened, that's just her putting up walls and her not being as trusting, right? Just because you're not as trusting, that has nothing to do necessarily with femininity or masculinity on his own. That's just you being cautious. A man could be cautious. A woman could be cautious. Hell, a fucking dog that was mistreated by a previous owner can be fucking cautious, right? There's cats roaming around my neighborhood. If I whistle, they're not coming up to me. Why? Because they're cautious, right? So once that cat overcomes not coming up to me and lets me pet it, is it now masculine? It makes no fucking sense. But go ahead, fam. Go ahead, fam.
No, well, one thing I that I always understand is that women don't have masculine traits. You understand? I mean, see, in my opinion, it's like this: women are following men's leads, and they want to emulate what they think masculinity is. You understand? So I don't like, how they call women masculine, or they say, oh, she's a masculine alpha woman, or she's a masculine woman. I really don't think it's like that. I think women are impersonating what they think men are. And a lot of it comes from the trauma, like you said. A lot of it comes from the fact that they've been through something with a man. And so they embody those things, and then they internalize it, and then they try to act like they know what a man is, or act like, and I think that's where I think that's where the a part of where the phrase toxic masculinity came from. Because they've been treated a certain way by a man, they think that ill treatment or that traumatic treatment is masculinity. You see what I'm saying? And then they have no other way to describe it other than toxic. So then they call it toxic masculinity. But that's not masculinity. None of that is masculinity. And like you said, getting over trauma don't have anything to do with necessarily do with masculinity. You understand? And so, in a lot of ways, these people on these podcasts, they have a weird perception, and they articulate their definition of masculinity in incorrect ways. You understand? Because they don't truly understand what masculinity is. So the whole thing with why, and I would probably say why males should stop talking about masculinity.
There we go.
These niggas ain't even men like that. You understand? They're not even men like that. Like, they, that dude, I mean, I don't got no problem with that dude. He says a lot of cool shit on his thing. I mean, I don't agree with everything and all that, but his, again, he is putting masculinity on these women, and that's a mistake. You understand? That is truly a mistake, because masculinity is not something for you to just like distribute freely like that. You know what I'm saying? It's, it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more prestige and privilege to masculinity. So, the guys like that got to, they got to be careful. Go ahead. Jay.
Well, see, and that's the point I want to make, because he's one of these red pill type of guys. He a lot of his commentary is in the same realm as Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels, where he has a lot of women on there, and he kind of goes at women for women being women, right? And what I notice a lot of these guys that cater to the red pill ideologies, at some point they try to venture into a territory that they're unfamiliar with, and that's masculinity and manhood. Right. They try and add those talking points to their commentary,
right?
And you can tell that they're new at it. That's not something that they're well versed in, because when they try to speak to masculinity, it's loosely thrown together. That's how I view it. Okay, you're just throwing words together, and a lot of and here's the problem with a lot of these guys. When you're popular and that type of thing, and you say things, most people aren't going to call you out, because damn near everything you say is golden to them, because they rock with your other shit.
Exactly.
Oh, hold on, Mom. Give me just a second, bro.
Okay. And guys, y'all could call in 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. The phone lines are open. So if y'all want to call in, 919-647-9392. Oh, and another thing I want to let y'all know is that the Father's Day sale is on. 15% off masculine identity soap for Father's Day. Go to masculineidentity.com, order your soap, and make sure you put in the code father. In the discount code area, put father, and you get 15% off for the Father's Day sale on the soap. All right, guys. So we got are you ready for calls, Kay?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. 609. You're on live with Kay Zaggin and Miles on the Manhood is a Skill Set Show. Name, age, city. How can we help you?
Yo, this is Josh, 25, New Jersey. How you gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Chilling, man. What's up, Josh? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the game, y'all.
You don't sound like you're doing good.
You sound depressed.
Oh,
Either that or you laying on your stomach with your feet up. One of the two.
You sound kind of sad, man. What's going on with you?
Nah, I'm chilling, man. My fault. I just got done smoking, but
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was listening to you, man, and you was breaking down trauma, man. I like that. But what I want to ask you, gentlemen, this afternoon is, what's the difference, in your opinion, from trauma and struggle as a man?
Trauma and struggle? What's the difference?
Yes.
Well, in my opinion, or from what I understand, trauma has more to do with a particular experience, right? Or like a particular experience that kind of stretch you emotionally, meaning that it's a new experience, and it's also it took you beyond a certain point in based on that singular experience. But struggle is something that you deal with on a frequent basis, like day to day. You see what I'm saying? Like struggle and struggle doesn't have to be traumatic. Struggle is just something that is a challenge for you, or struggle is something that you use it to maintain a certain level of toughness, or being able to deal with different situations on a regular basis. So trauma is like more of a singular experience, and struggle can be every single day.
So caller, so this is what I would say. Now, can you struggle to overcome trauma? So here's an example of trauma, right? Let's say you have a woman who was either sexually assaulted or physically abused. And during the course of those crimes, because they're crimes, like let's say someone grabbed her by her neck, right? So let's say, months later, years later, she's dealing with a man, and they are about to have sex. And let's say he grabs her by the neck, and she like jumps, and she's shook, right? The reason why that will occur is because of the trauma she's experienced, and she hasn't gotten past it, right? Another example is, let's say you've been a victim of gun violence, right? You've been shot, or you witnessed someone getting shot, and you just witnessed something horrific. So let's say you're walking and you hear a car backfire, which can sound like a shot, and you jump and you're terrified, right? That's traumatic, right? That's called post-traumatic disorder, where you experience something traumatic, and months later, years later, if something even reminds you of it, you're still jumpy, right? So people who experience real trauma, they go through shit, right? Even kids, even like let's say a woman, or even a young man. Let's say you were yelled at, and you were screamed at as a young kid, and it was traumatizing to you, right? And then you grow up, and someone like in a relationship type of situation raises their voice at you, and you shut down, like you literally shut down, right? That's you kind of recounting your childhood trauma, because you're not over it yet. You're still struggling to fight past it. And G-Dog UK said it in the chat, where trauma has become a fashionable word, where people just toss it around.
Yeah.
Right. But there are people who, and to me, I think it's offensive to people who experience real trauma. Right. So when you say struggle, can you struggle to get over traumatic events in your life? Yes. But even Dukalux, he's saying that's just examples, but whatever the person would be experienced, that is terrible to them, is trauma. No, that's not necessarily true, right? Because being cheated on, right, that's not necessarily a traumatic event because you got cheated on, right? That's not necessarily. Now, can you say that's something that messes you up, that it causes trust issues? Yeah, but that's not necessarily a traumatic event. Now, let's say let's say, like I'll give you an example. I watched this show. I think it was called Snapped, where the woman killed her husband. And the reason why she killed her husband is because she was watching. This is back when VH tapes were still popular, right? So she popped in a VH tape thinking it was a movie, and it was really a recording that her husband made of him sexually assaulting her daughter.
Oh my
God! So he recorded it, right? So her witnessing her husband sexually assault her daughter. Now her daughter, that wasn't his biological daughter, right? But regardless of that, right? So she saw it. Can you say that was a traumatic event? Yes. It was traumatic. It was so traumatic. She killed a motherfucker. Yeah. So we got to be careful what we label trauma. You know what I'm saying? Now you can say something is disturbing, but is it necessarily traumatic? But go ahead, call it. You got it.
Oh, were you asking me a question? Or
No. I'm not asking you a question. It was more of just me making a statement. But you got it. It's on you, bro. Go ahead.
What was your purpose of asking that question, Josh?
I was kind of struggling to kind of differentiate the two. So, I lean to you guys who got game.
Yeah, but differentiate. But what's your purpose for differentiating the two? What brought you to this line of thought?
No, it was just a thought. Just.
So you just sit there. You just sit there and think of trauma and struggle, and that's it. Like.
No, it was just something that came to my mind. That's all.
Okay.
Nothing big.
All right. You have any other questions?
No, no other questions, man. I appreciate the game, man. I appreciate you guys. You
just finished smoking, so your mind is just wondering. That's really what it is.
Bro, go ahead and hit the kitchen. I know you got the munchies, bro. Go ahead and hit the kitchen up.
Nah, I already ate
He already ate
Oreo ice cream, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. All right, bro. Hey, man, go. You know what? Since you high as shit, go to masculineidentity.com and get yourself some masculine identity soap. It's 15% off for Father's Day. All right, go to the discount code on the checkout and type in father, and you get 15% off. All right, bro.
And I would say, and since you're really high as shit, go ahead and hit the Cash App and accidentally put a 0 behind that 5. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do that.
Nah, all just aside, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Miles, I'm actually on the Bible membership. I'm planning on getting your soap, bro.
Right.
I always tune into y'all. I think a week or two ago, I called into this show and I was, talking about my upbringing and shit like that. Y'all was really helping me out. So, I always appreciate the game y'all give. And I'll be in Miami.
All right, perfect. So. All right, appreciate it. See you there, bro. See you there, man. You have a great day. Appreciate you, man. Be safe.
All right, for sure.
Peace. All right. So, yeah, we're good on calls right now. So, 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Go ahead and call in, guys. 919-647-9392.
So shout out to the homie Steve the Dean in the building, the motherfucking man mindset. Oh, yeah. All right, so guys, if you have questions, by all means, you know what I'm saying? If you agree or disagree with what we said, if you disagree with my assessment on the video, and I'll replay the video in just a moment for people that's coming in on a late tip, so you can understand what kind of jump started me wanting to even talk about this shit. I'll be playing for some of y'all who are late. But whether you agree or disagree, especially if you disagree, please call in and explain why. Even if you disagree with the whole trauma thing, you know what I'm saying? And let me just say this again. When we start talking about defining things, right, from a subjective or an objective point of view, then we got to be careful, right? Because especially on YouTube, there's a lot of things that are taken out of context. There are things that have people's own, like even love. Like I'll use love as an example, right? All love really means is having a deep affection for somebody. That's all that it means. But you'll have people say, well, love to me means loyalty, respect, means that you care about somebody more than you care about yourself. That's not what love means. But for that person, that's how they view what love means to them. So even when it comes to that, right, love in and of itself is subjective. Now, if you're just going by the true definition of what love is having a deep affection for someone. That's it. But people put extras on it because people like to say, well, in my opinion, this is how I feel about this topic. And you're entitled to that. But when you start creating your own definition for something, the danger in that is you start to think that your definition is more factual than opinionated. And that's where we get into the dangers of shit. Like even with love, right? When people say, oh, girl, he don't love your love, he doesn't know your love language. See, now that's where you get into the danger of shit. Because you start to act like, quote unquote, your love language is more facts than opinions, right? So when people say, oh, my love language is affection or touch, right? Or my love language is gift giving or service, that's just your opinion, right? But when you think your opinion is more factual than opinionated, then you start to expect people to do things in relation to your fucking opinion. And that's where you have unrealistic dating expectations. Let me hit this up real quick. So scale fitness with the 5. If a child grew up watching their parents fight all the time, it can affect their relationships as an adult. Well, it can be traumatic because you're witnessing. Look, what? Hold on. Where we go? Witnessing violence. You're witnessing violence, right? When you're yelling and you're cursing and you're being aggressive with your tone, right? That can be a perception of violence, right? You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get the pushing and shoving in conjunction with that aggressive tone and aggressive rhetoric. So as a child, like you got to remember that children, they're not developed like a 22-year-old witnessing his parents arguing. It's not the same thing as a 6-year-old. It's not. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's not disturbing as a 22-year-old, but is it quite as traumatic as a 6-year-old? Probably not, because you're still developing, right? So as a 22-year-old, you can differentiate between people just being dumb and immature, right? They just dumb and immature. They don't know how to communicate. They got issues. They probably got childhood issues they haven't worked through. As a 22-year-old, you can make that assessment or you can make that discernment. As a 6-year-old, you really can't, right? So as a 6-year-old, you can grow up as that 22-year-old, basically mimicking what you saw as a 6-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, there's a difference between your maturity level, your mental aptitude, and your emotional maturity for you to be able to look at what you're seeing and then make a decision on how to view it. Like another example would be this. Shout out to, I don't want to say his name, but I got a partner who witnessed his father cheating on his mother. Both his parents were married and they were together. His father, him witnessing his father cheating on his mother impacted how he viewed relationships. And so when he got married with the mindset of trying to be the opposite of his father. And in doing so, he overcompensated. And it messed up. Let me not say it messed up his marriage, but it messed up how he viewed marriage. And because of that, he was blind to the fact of how to actually be a man first. Right. So he thought being a man was synonymous with being a husband. Right. And being a man is separate from that. Right. So you got to be a man first before you can be a husband to a woman. You got to be a man first. Just being a husband to a woman doesn't automatically make you a man. And because he didn't have that understanding, he walked into the marriage not prepared to actually lead that woman correctly, which led to incidents in his marriage. And he'll tell you that. He'll tell you that he didn't understand. And now, because he understands what it means to be a man, he's remarried and he has a whole different marriage. His marriage is way more healthy because he understands how to lead from a man's vantage point, where before he didn't, right? So this is why when you have kids that experience traumatic events, they grow up having a misunderstanding of what it means to be a man or a woman. So I just want guys to understand that. This is why we got to be careful when we talk about manhood and masculinity. We have to have a separation of what it means to be a man, just a standalone man. Okay, then we can address childhood trauma separately from that. Then we can address what it means to conduct yourself as a man in relationships with women. We can tackle those independently. But when we talk about being a man and having an identity as a man, we need to tackle that first. Because when we talk about having children, right, as a man, when we talk about being a boyfriend or a husband or dealing with women, that branches off. But we can't jump into just having kids and being a boyfriend or a husband and think that somehow we're men now because we're doing these things. It don't work that way.
Right.
So guys, the call-in line is open, 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Guys, if you have opposing views, call in. Okay, we're listening. Be respectful. Call in. You can be in opposition of what we're saying, right? If you have a different mindset, right? Call in. If you agree, but you just have a different way of how you view it, call in, by all means. If you have a question, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question, because your participation is what's going to drive this show. Right. But if you're not participating, we'll end this shit right the fuck now. And I got shit. It's a nice sunny day. No, that's a swimming pool. You know what I'm saying? 100 yards from me. I'm about to hop in that motherfucker.
It's beautiful outside, man.
Yes.
But you know what I want to ask too is, what about information? You know, like, because I mean, it's one thing to call it trauma, but it's another. Like, for example, my dad told me early in my lifetime. So my dad wasn't like all the way gamed up on a lot of things, but he did tell me this. He's number one. He said, make sure your woman love you more than you love her. And he said, you can't just have one woman. You understand? You just can't. You know. So it's like, and for the longest time, I saw my parents together, but then I seen my dad with other women. Now I wouldn't call it trauma. I just called it information. You understand? And then I mean, I did see my parents argue and fight or whatever, but when they divorced, it wasn't traumatic because they got divorced when I was in my early 20s. Yeah. And it wasn't traumatic. It was just like, well, one parent going this way, the other parent going the other way. My parents ain't together no more. That, to me, it was more like just information. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, a lot of times it's not always trauma. It's not as dramatic as you think it is supposed to be. It's like, sometimes it's just information. Like, you learn something new. Like, oh shit, my parents have been together all this time, but now they decided to do something different. So now it's just new information to bring it into the fold. You see what I'm saying? All right, so we got 816. You're alive with K Zaggin and Miles. Name, age, city. How can we help you?
Yeah, that's Rome, 38 in Georgia.
Rome, 38, Georgia. What's going on with you, man? What's your question?
Yeah, y'all say why men shouldn't talk about masculinity. Why not?
Yeah, ask K Zag. That was on him.
Okay, so caller, are you listening or are you watching us?
I just tuned in.
Oh,
are you listening or watching us on screen?
I seen y'all on the screen.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a video clip for you, right? And after I play the video clip for you, you'll understand what I'm saying. Now, you can agree with what you see or disagree with it. I'm gonna play this video clip for you, and then you can understand what I'm talking about.
Men and women experience trauma differently. When a man experiences trauma and overcomes trauma, he becomes a masculine man. A masculine man is more valuable to a woman. When a woman experiences trauma, the only way she can overcome it is by taking on more masculine traits. So she becomes a more hardened woman for her future man. Because the only way you can overcome trauma, you have to take on masculine traits. You got to be a little bit more non-agreeable. You got to be a little bit more assertive, a little bit more dominant. And inherently, men just view those traits in society. Human beings, we view that as masculine. The more things...
Have a good man.
It's not saying that she's not deserving of a good man.
2 minutes earlier.
When you're at my age, you're more cautious.
You even admitted it recently when you said that an older woman like me, I have to be a little bit more cautious. Well, god dang, that's more walls that you have up that I got to break down because another put you through some stuff that made you put them walls up.
So the video is really about, or the stream is really about how some men are ill-equipped to speak on masculinity, right? Some men are ill-equipped. So I'm gonna pass it to you, but let me just say this real quick, caller. The problem with what he was saying was he was trying to correlate masculinity with overcoming trauma. Then he was trying to correlate that with how women view trauma. Masculinity and manhood has nothing to do with trauma, and it has nothing to do with women. So for a man, for a young man or a man who doesn't really know his identity or who's easily influenced, listening to this guy, he'll get the wrong idea about what it means to be masculine. So he's saying, and when a man overcomes trauma, now he's masculine. Bullshit. You don't have to overcome anything to be a masculine man, right? You can experience trauma and be a masculine man before that trauma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's prevalent and it's imperative about masculinity that you teach that. You gotta have that as men. So it ain't nothing wrong with talking about masculinity.
No, caller, we agree with you, brother.
It's extremely important to have such. It's not a bad thing to speak on.
No, caller, brother. We see. So
he's taking it. Caller, it sounds like you take the title like super literal. Like you're not even. Did you watch the video that he played for you just now?
Yeah, I peeked it.
Okay, so but it's like you just keep talking about, oh yeah, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it, but you're not.
So caller. So based on the video that we saw, let me rephrase the topic. Why some men should stop talking about masculinity? Why males should stop talking about the title is an attention getter, but the premise of the video is really that some men are ill-equipped to talk about masculinity or manhood. That's what it's really about, and that's the point of the video is really that.
Amen. Those males who are ill-equipped talk about that. There's a difference between a male and a man.
Exactly. So the clip that we just played is a male. He's not no man. Go ahead, fam. You got it.
No, I was just saying that those are males who are ill-equipped talking about that. A man definitely know what he's talking about when and know how to display masculinity and all that.
No, we agree that masculinity needs to be talked about, but it needs to be talked about by men who actually know what they're talking about. That's the difference. So masculinity is very, very important. But when we do talk about masculinity, we need to have commentary and discussion where we can talk about it without always bringing women into the equation.
Without offending anyone, hurting anyone's feelings is what you're getting at.
No, I don't give a fuck about offending nobody. I don't care about hurting nobody's feelings. No. What I'm saying, brother, is this. Like, even with the Game Kings 2 documentary that Miles and Lucario did, right? If you watch the clips of it, we rarely, if ever, speak about women, right? We speak about what it means to be a man onto yourself. Like, for each individual guy, right? If I ask you, what does being a masculine man mean to you? You should be able to tell me without mentioning women at all. Right? You know what I'm saying?
All day. To differentiate.
Exactly.
The difference between the two. You can't even, they're not even a part of that equation, that topic. And
there you go. That's the point, brother. And that's the point I'm trying to make. is that women are not part of the equation when we talk about defining masculinity and defining manhood and having a masculine identity. Women ain't got nothing to do with that shit at all. Right now, women can benefit from it. Right? If you are a real man or a masculine man, can a woman benefit from it? Most definitely. But go ahead, brother. You got it.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's all. I just wanted some, I guess, since you broke that down, the clarification, and all that. But I was just one based off the topic or what have you, that masculinity. Men shouldn't talk about masculinity. But you broke that down. I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Cool.
You know, based off of that video as well. So yeah, now it really come to the forefront, makes sense and all that. But y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Continue watching the show.
All right, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the call, man. And I'm sure he wasn't the only one that needed that little bit of clarification. So it's all good, man. We appreciate you. Guys, call in 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Go ahead.
See, but sometimes we need to get you guys' attention. Because if I were to put why some men, it wouldn't have had the same effect as it does with that current title. So
exactly right.
I got to get you guys' attention. Look, let me just say this. And shout out to Lucario again, right? Because, you know, with the advent of social media, YouTube, these live streaming platforms and apps, everybody has a voice.
Right.
Everybody. But the problem is everybody has a voice. So it's a wonderful thing. And also, it's not a wonderful thing that everyone has a voice. And we have to be careful how we facilitate and disseminate information. We have to be careful and mindful because when you talk about people with a lot of influence, right? Because everyone has an influence. I don't care if you have 1,000 subs or 100,000 subs.
Right.
Our voices, we have the ability to influence people. The problem is the people with bigger channels that have funky ass information, they have the ability to reach the masses quicker than men with better information has. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem, right? Even when we talk about manhood and masculinity, I want guys to understand something, and I got to bring it up, right? I got to bring it up. When we talk about red pill ideology and MGTOW, men going their own way and all that other shit, a lot of these guys, the reasons why they had trouble with women to begin with is because they didn't have an identity. Shout out Masculine Identity Membership.com. They didn't have an identity. And they thought their identity was them being somebody's husband. They thought their identity was what they could do in relation to taking care of a woman. Oh, if I provide for a woman, if I love her, if I dote on her, if I spoil her, and if I care for her, if I provide her security, and if I provide resources for her to have a comfortable lifestyle, I'm a man on the strength of that. No, you're not. No, you're not. Now, there's nothing wrong with providing security and provisions for a woman. On the surface, there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is when you associate that with manhood and masculinity, and then a woman, the moment a woman fucks you over, divorces you, or at least in your eyes, what it means to be fucked over. The moment you divorce, now you have a skewed idea of what it means to be a man.
Right. All right, we got 330. You're on live with K Zag and the Miles. Name, age, city. How can we help you?
It's William, 41, Ohio.
William Kime. What up, man?
Hey, William, what's good, fam?
Hey, listen, I'm literally catching like 10 minutes of the show. I leaving my friend's house. I'm going to do a quick meetup with a girl up the street from my barn just for a quick drink.
All right.
I see what do you guys got there? What's something about stop talking about masculinity?
Yes, we're just talking about how some men. Okay, no, I don't want to offend men. How a lot of males are ill-equipped to talk about masculinity and manhood. Look, let me just say this. A lot of people have a lane. They need to stick to their lane. When they try to come into the other lane and speak on matters that they're not well versed in, they confuse and conflict the information. But yeah, we're talking about how a lot of guys should stop talking about masculinity because they're ill-equipped. But go ahead, William, you got it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, with staying in your lane, I say that all the time. Like, I got to keep myself in my lane, you know, and I guess that's part of being a man is knowing what lane you should be in, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean,
what lane you should be in.
You know, I mean, like, I know there's certain that I am not able to do in the equine and the horse world, right? I know I can't do that, but I know what lane to be in, and I know where, you know, where I can make things work, you know. But also on the masculinity thing, I was thinking this quick story on something that just happened the other night. Anytime I'm on a date with a woman, I just love especially, you know, if the vibe's right, you know, you're feeling each other, whatever, compare hands, like put her hand, like have her put her hand in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, like just last night, there was one where my pinky was way bigger than her index finger. And, you know, we were in the moment, like we were flirting, feeling each other, whatnot. And I just looked at her and I was like, now imagine what that pinky could do.
Are you out here finger maxing, bro? You out here finger maxing? You out here finger?
No.
But William, look, real quick. Are you watching us or just listening to us?
I'm just listening. Listening.
Okay. No, I remember on the fingertip. I got a real quick story, right? So I remember one time I was fingering this young lady. We never had sex yet, right? And I had one finger in there, and it was kind of tight. I put two fingers in there, and it was super, super tight, right? So I put three fingers together, and I looked at my fingers, and then I looked at her, and I said, "Ooh, girl, you're gonna have a struggle." And she's like, why do you look at your fingers like that? Then I turned around and I looked at my Johnson, and I said, "Yeah, you're gonna struggle, right?" So basically, what I was trying to correlate is if you can barely take two fingers, you're gonna struggle with what I'm working with, right? So that was my whole point of telling that story. But so when you told that woman, and that, let me just say this, that actually intrigued her when I did that shit. She was like, "Oh, really now?" Right? So that actually intrigued her, and needless to say, you know, it worked out in my favor. But anyway, so when you said this to that young lady, what was the end result of that?
The end result was her riding my dick later on that night.
Ooh.
So after, you know, the girl that we that was last night. Yeah, come to think of it, that was last night. Yeah.
Oh, so you say I got to smash?
Oh yeah, we smashed, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. So
yeah, no, she. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish up.
But no, what I was going to say is, like, you know, I didn't tell that girl that, oh, I'm a masculine man, I'm this, the word masculine was never ever brought up. Just the way I presented myself around her and her feeling her hand in my hand, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I work outside all the time, and my hands are pretty rough as far as callous, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, they feel that hand on their hand and maybe on their calf and shit like that. It's like they want to know what's that going to feel on my boobs too. You know what I mean?
Right. And I get what you're saying too. Like, you know, men should stop talking about masculinity because what's understood doesn't need to be said.
Exactly.
You know, because like you said, you know, you got hands like a man. You know, you shake hands with a woman, she knows she's shaking the hands of a man. You don't need to shake her hand.
I love doing that where I grab a woman's hand, hold her hand for a second, and look directly in her eyes. You know what I mean? I love just watching a woman completely like turn into her feminine just by doing that. You know?
Right. Because she feels it. She feels the strength. She feels the roughness. She realizes that she's not dealing with the same species as herself.
Exactly. But anyway, I gotta check on the horses real quick. Then I'm running up the road to meet a girl for a first time meetup for a drink.
All right.
Come back, finish taking care of the horses, and then go off to going to a rodeo down south, but I'm meeting up with a chick right before the rodeo. We're meeting up to have a drink, and she was talking about wanting to go to the rodeo with me.
Nice.
And which, you know, I'm like, that's kind of a lot for a first date, but fuck it, you know, she'll be wildly entertained, and she's from, like, she knows the rodeo world too, you know.
I mean, hey, just be intentional with your shit. Invite her back to the hotel, and, you know, make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It'll be a fun night, and even if we're not feeling each other or whatever, I'm still going to the rodeo. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
so you'll be in a place that you're comfortable. You're fine.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you guys keep doing your thing. I got to run, but I'll be listening here.
All right, bro. Hey, keep doing your thing. And shout out to Los with the $4.99 super chat. He said, "Was it the right move for me to end a 2-year relationship because she said we needed to have some space?" Yes. Yeah. And, go ahead. We have a call, but if you want to answer that real quick.
Well, let me just say this: if a woman says she needs space, trust and believe 99% of the time there's somebody else she wants to entertain, and the reason why women say they need space is because them cheating would cause them to sneak around, and they can't really maximize the experience with the new guy. So they need space so they can go out, kick it, and do all of that. That's all that really is. Yeah.
That was the right move. When a woman says she needs space, it's a wrap. Just call it a day and move on. So we got 610-610. You're on live with K Zaggin and Miles. Name, age, city. How can we help you?
Hey, how you guys doing? It's Jay, Pittsburgh, Dirty too.
All right, what's going on with you, man?
What up, Jay?
Not much. Just I got a quick question. So what do you guys take on hollering at females? You know, like say they walk in, you're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you guys think about that?
Bro,
when I was younger, but now it's a little bit
do it. Why stop, bro? Look, let me tell you something. I've done that several times in my lifetime. I'm driving, I see a little something walking down the street. I honk my horn, I point, hey, wait right there. Now, if she keep walking, then she gonna keep walking. But if she stop, I'm gonna pull over, hop out, and holler at her. Bro, you can, if you see a woman that you feel is visually appealing to you, you know, if she happens to be your physical type and all that type of stuff, bro, it don't matter. You know, holler at her. If you don't want to holler, don't holler. But go ahead and talk to her. You know, all she can do is say no or keep walking. You know.
That's it. Yep.
So you all right? So she stopped. You get out the car.
I have, bro. Yes, I've literally been riding down the street and maybe either by myself or me in a. But let me just say this: I've been walking and chicks pulled over and offered me a ride multiple times. So even a woman, you know what I'm saying, will pull over. Oh, I like what I see. Like I had women say, "Sir, it's hot out here. Why don't you get in the car and get into some AC? Show you right. I'm gonna hop right in there too." But anyway, I'm gonna hop right on in there too. I'm sweating. But and I'm gonna take off my shirt. Blame mind if I take off my shirt, girl. I'm hot. In the AC to hit me, right? So you can see what's anyway. I don't want to get too much into that. But caller, yeah, man. If you see a young lady walking down the street. And a lot of times you ain't even got to say nothing. You could just pull over, park, you know what I'm saying? Run up on her. When I say run, I don't mean hit a full sprint. Like you chase down the street trying to catch her. No, you ain't got to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to pull over and talk to her because you got some time on your hands, yeah, bro, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
All right, that's cool. And then the other question I got was handshakes. All right, do you guys generally, like when you're first meeting a woman, you introduce yourself, do you extend your hand and do you?
Okay. So let me tell you what I do. Right? I'm a very assertive individual, and I like to make sure that my presence is felt at all times. Right? So when I meet a young lady, face to face, I'm gonna shake her hand. It's gonna be firm, but not quite as firm as I would with a man. You know, when you shake a man's hand, it's firm, but you release. You don't sit there and hold it and keep talking to him, right? So when I'm shaking the hand of a woman, it's gonna be firm enough where she knows that her hand is in the hand of a man, but also I don't let go, right? And so if a woman wants to let go, she can let go. But I'm gonna keep holding her hand. I'm gonna look her dead in the eye while I'm talking to her. I'm gonna keep her hand in my hand, and I'm gonna inch a little closer to her. I'm gonna get a little closer, right? And the reason why I'm doing that is because two things. One, if women aren't really feeling you, they're typically not going to let you hold their hand. They're typically going to take their hand right real quick, right? If a woman snatches her hand out of your hand, she's telling you with that action, she really ain't feeling you and she don't really want to be touched by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but if a woman keep her hand there and she's engaging you and she don't make no effort to really pull it away, and then as you inch closer, you keep right on talking to her, chances are she's feeling your presence in that moment, right? That's personally why I do it. That's just me though.
No, that's a good strategy, definitely.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just wanted to hear you guys take on those topics. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
All right, brother. You have a good day, man. Thanks for the call. All right, guys, we got a 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Make sure y'all call in, man. We are here for you.
Yeah, and let me say this regarding that. Guys, most communication is nonverbal. Most communication is nonverbal. If you have social awareness, astute awareness, and you can observe things well, and you pay attention to what's going on, you can tell if a woman is feeling you a lot without even her having to say anything specific to let you know. You can kind of tell. Right. You know what I'm saying? If you're paying attention. See, a lot of guys, when guys call in and they ask us shit like, I was at the gym and this chick did this, and I was at work and this chick did that. The reason why they're asking those questions is because they don't truly understand what they're seeing, right? And what I mean by that is this. Just because a woman is friendly doesn't mean she's interested. Just because a woman is pleasant doesn't mean she's interested. Just because a woman is smiling at you while she's talking to you doesn't mean that she's interested. It don't mean that, right? Because it's all about context, right? So what I mean by that is, if you're dealing with a woman in the service industry, she's a hostess, she's a waitress, she's a bartender, their tips are predicated on them being very pleasant, friendly, and sometimes flirtatious, right? So this is why you can't really allow those situations to lead you astray as far as what you think you're seeing. All right. He said, hold on, what did he say? Hold on, I gotta bring this up. He said out here, hitchhike. Yo, look, let me tell y'all something. When when I was in the military, it happened a lot. Like when I would be walking places, like on base or anywhere near the base, I had a lot of chicks that would pick me up while I was walking. And more often than not, they were interested, right? But I didn't necessarily assume that right away. I didn't necessarily assume that because a lot of times, they had on their uniform too. They were fellow soldiers, right? So a lot of times it's just like I see a fellow soldier walking as hot as hell. Let me pick him up, because I had dudes that would offer me a ride too. So I didn't automatically assume anything about it. But once I got in that car with those females and we started talking, I was like, she down. You know what I'm saying? So, where's your barracks at? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so that's what we call like the dorms and the college. We call them barracks. Same shit.
Right.
But, yeah. So I made it work for me, man. Look, and let me just say this, guys. A lot of times, women aren't going to make it obvious that they're interested. You know what I'm saying? You just got to pick up on the signs. A lot of times, women are going to do things, and if they perceive you to be the type of guy that can get women, they're going to expect you to know. You know what I'm saying? What it is they're trying to do, even if it's, even if they're subtle with it, right?
Right.
Covert with it, right? So guys, real quick, get your tickets, right, on the Eventbrite. Game Kings 2, the definition of game, the documentary screening in Miami on October 26th. Get your fucking tickets. Yo, your boy gonna be there. I didn't make it in Vegas, but I'm gonna be here. I already got my hotel. If Steve is watching, I got the room at the Hyatt too, fam. I got the room at the Hyatt too, fam. So we right there, baby. We right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already, making sure it's gonna be on point and shit. I'm looking up restaurants and shit. The boy got to eat. I like seafood, so I gotta eat. But so there we go. Guys, if y'all got questions, put a Q in the chat. I think we do got a question. Also, real quick, the number is right there, 919-647-9392.
Yep.
Call in if you got a question regarding the topic, or if you got any question for that matter. Please call in. I'm saying we'd love to speak to you. All right, so V Win says, can a man be considered masculine if he has no roster of women in his life? Fam, being a man has nothing to do with women. You can be a virgin. Guys, you can be a virgin and still be a masculine man. And let me just say this about being a masculine man or a man in general. Guys, in real life, okay, when you're talking to women, I've never had a discussion about masculinity like that, where a woman is like, so, Carrie, are you a masculine man? Or you just kind of like just a regular man, right? You know, that shit don't come up, right? So when you deal with women, like in real life, when you get away from the internet, when you deal with women, either you are the type of man she's attracted to or you're not.
Right.
Okay, it's literally that simple. Either you're the type of man that you are attracted to or you're not. And when it comes to behaviors, right? Because when we talk about adult males and men, because someone said earlier, having sex doesn't make you a man, and that's true, right? Your behaviors, right? When we talk about how you conduct yourself and how you behave, that separates adult males from men, right? Just because now, when you turn 18 years old, legally you're a man. Legally, right? Just because you have a dick and a set of balls and you're 18, that doesn't make you a man, right? You can have a guy who's 28 and he acts like a little boy. And you can have a guy who's 50 and he acts like a little boy. Right? So just because you are a man and you've been through some shit and you're married and got kids and all of that, that don't make you no motherfucking man. Okay? Believe that. So we got to be careful with that.
Nothing having to do with women makes you a man, bro. You understand? Like, we keep trying to tell you, the game is not about women. Like, no matter how many times we repeat it, it's like niggas don't get it. Just because you don't have to even have a girlfriend. Forget a roster. You don't even need to have a girlfriend to be a masculine dude. You understand? So look, having a masculine identity, being masculine has everything to do with you embracing yourself, being who you are, understanding your purpose. Renee P. You understanding your purpose and you living your life according to your purpose and according to your identity. You understand? Like a good example of a masculine identity, right? In my opinion, right now, as a decent example, if anybody watches the NBA, look at somebody like Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving went through the fire. Kyrie Irving got suspended. He got punished. You know, they wouldn't let him play because he didn't want to take the shot. They called him anti-Semitic. They almost kicked him out the fucking league. Everybody was saying that he was supposed to retire. He lost his Nike brand deal, all of this shit. And now everybody, you know, figuratively is sucking his dick because he's in the NBA finals right now, playing really great basketball. And so what I want to say is that's a masculine identity. He stood by his principles. He held on to what he believed in, regardless of what anyone said. And he kept on doing it to the point where now he's in the advantageous position and everybody's bowing down to him simply because he held on to what he believed in. That's masculinity. And that has nothing to do with a female.
At all.
But he knew who he was. He knew how he wanted. He knew that he didn't want no vaccination. He knew that he wasn't going to hold his tongue on the truth about being a Semite as far as his religion and his religious and spiritual and historic beliefs. He knew that nobody could stop him on the court. You understand? So he continued to work on his craft, regardless of them almost kicking him out the league or suggesting that he should retire. And no teams wanted him when the Brooklyn Nets put him up on the auction block to be traded. Because let's be clear, that's what it is. They literally moving slaves around. I mean, they're high priced slaves, but it's the same shit, really. But when they put him up on the auction block and so many teams, Matt, no teams wanted him really. No teams.
He lost tens of millions of dollars.
And he lost a whole bunch of fucking money too, right? But he stayed true to his identity. And he didn't switch. He didn't be like, all right, my bad, let me get the vaccine. He didn't lie and say, oh, my bad, let me not talk about the Semites and all that. No, he stayed true to his shit.
Well, even with that, Miles, he can't be bought.
He can't.
You know what I'm saying?
He can't
so that right there. Number one, let me just say this about not being bought. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can't be bought. No, don't get it twisted. His money mattered to him, but his principles mattered more.
Exactly.
Right. So, and because he knew what was going to happen when he got suspended, he lost money. Nike did. You don't think he knew that shit was coming? He could have easily reversed and did what Nick Cannon did. You know what I'm saying? And got apologizing and begging for forgiveness and all that goofy shit. So part of being a man is standing on your square and saying, you know what? This is what I believe in. I'm ready to, like you said, Miles, walk through the fire for this shit.
Exactly.
Right. And that we talk about principles and integrity and honor and dignity. All of that shit is part of what makes you a man. Now, women can have dignity and honor too, and all that, and that's what makes them a woman, right? But let me just say this, guys. I want guys to understand something. Because somebody asked earlier, matter of fact, let me bring it up right now. Where is it at? Somebody asked about what makes a man a masculine man. Okay, first and foremost, excuse me, there are certain things about being a man that's just universal. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go around asking people what's the definition of masculinity, most people are going to be subjective. They're going to have their own personal definitions. But even it's kind of like love. Everyone got their own definitions. But when you peel back the layers of people's personal takes on it, there's usually an underlying theme as to just what the fuck it means.
Right.
Right. The problem is, though, and I'm gonna get back to what I said earlier, not everyone should be speaking on masculinity, because if you don't have an identity, if you can't even answer the question as to who are you, what's your identity as a man, if you can't answer that question emphatically and by the numbers, because you're not even equipped to even speak on that shit about masculinity. Now, you're allowed to have your opinion on it, but when you speak on it and you have the ear of impressionable young men, you're just going to fuck them up, because you're going to have them believing that masculinity or them being a masculine man or their identity is tied to women.
Exactly.
And it's going to fuck them up.
Exactly.
And again, let me finish my thought about, that's why the whole red pill movement and the MGTOW movement, these guys never knew their identity. So when things happen with women, when they got cheated on or divorced or whatever, they had a problem with women, and they had an issue with women. Whereas if they actually knew their identity, they would have known that divorces happen. It's par for the course. Being cheated on is something that can happen to anybody. It's par for the course. So if you understand that being in a relationship is a calculated risk, and that shit can happen to you regardless of how masculine you are or think you are, shit can still happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
But part of being a man and knowing your identity and having leadership skills and all of that is you're able to make better decisions where you lessen the likelihood of certain things happening to you, whereas other guys just walk into shit blindly because they don't know who the fuck they are. Right. So even as a man, when shit happens, the moment that a woman is disrespectful, you just get rid of her, because you can already see, if I keep this woman around, this shit is going to get worse, and I can really end up in a fucked up predicament if I keep her around. When you're not a man and you don't know your identity, you keep dealing with that woman. And then when shit gets really bad and the relationship ends, now you blame the woman. Whereas if you were actually a man, you would have actually saw that shit coming and you would have nipped it in the bud. Or when shit does happen with a woman, you can take personal accountability and say, you know what? Shorty ain't no good for me. You know, she don't fit the type of life that I lead. She don't fit into my plans. Let me go ahead and cut bait right now. Right. But when you're not a man, you know, you want to argue with the woman. You want to try and force fit situations. Girl, why you acting like that? All this shit I do for you, man, you don't even respect me. Hey, now you're trying to force shit. You're trying to demand that she respects you. If you are a true masculine man, you command it. You ain't got to demand it. Because the woman already sees the value in you, right? And it's not, let me just say this. I don't want guys to get it twisted. Just because a woman doesn't see value in you doesn't mean you're not a man. But when you try and argue with a woman to see the value in you, you're not a man.
Exactly.
Right? Because you should already see, all right, she don't see the value in me, right? That means if she don't see the value in me, by virtue of that, she ain't going to offer no value. So let me get rid of this chick. Right? It's discernment. It's you being able to see shit before it happens.
Right.
Like Nas said, it was written. Like I can tell by how this chick is acting. If I continue to deal with her, she gonna be nothing but trouble for me. But most guys, they have no discernment because the chick is pretty, her booty is fat, or they just like her a lot, or whatever the case may be. So they feel like, you know what? Let me give her, and this is the mistake that guys make. Let me give her the title of girlfriend.
Right.
Then I'll have more influence. Then I'll be able to basically have leverage to change her, because then I can give her the threat of my absence if she don't change. That's not the way it works, because the threat of your absence should be prominent before she even gets the title.
Before, oh my God, real talk, real fucking talk, man. I'm telling you.
But if you ain't no fucking man, you're not gonna realize that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's just, and you said, Miles, you said something very profound. A lot of guys ain't gonna look at it that way. I did when you said it. Information. You have the information beforehand. Okay, when we talk about game is information. Okay, when you talk about game, okay, in order for a guy to really have game and understand game, you have to have the information. You have to have the requisite experience, right? You have to have the knowledge, right? Once you mix that shit in a pot like gumbo, you throwing that shit in a bowl and get ready to eat it is wisdom, because now you are applying the information, the experience. You're applying it to your life.
Right.
It's kind of like spreading peanut butter on bread. It's the application of the information, because you can get the information. We give information all goddamn day with these fucking podcasts. But what do we have? Guys calling in asking the same fucking questions. How do I? What should I do? And then we look at them like, you've been listening to us for 2 years. That means they're getting the information, but they're not applying it to their lives. Facts. Which is why they're still asking the same fucking questions. Right. They're not applying it, right? And when we talk about disseminating and facilitating information, and we talk about manhood and masculinity, even with the Game Kings too, the definition of man, if you're not taking something from what's being spoke and the lessons learned and the information being given, if you're not taking something from that where you can say, you know what, I can apply that, right? If you're not doing that, then you're just being entertained by what you're hearing.
Right.
Right. But you're not learning shit. And guys, hey, let me say this. If you're just paying attention to the shit that we say because you want to be entertained and you want to giggle and laugh at some of the goofy callers that we get, fine. If all you're listening to this shit is for entertainment purposes, fine, have at it. But when you have trouble in your life, just overall, and you have trouble dealing with women, that's what you get for not learning. Now, you can be entertained and still learn.
Right.
But go ahead, Mike. You got
No. I'm good. You could be entertained and still learn. Go ahead. Yep. Okay.
But there's someone asking you a question. It says, Miles, I know you got the soap, but have you tried making lotion, masculine lotion, stay moisturized, gentlemen, not ashy?
So I do shea butter in the fall and winter. I do a seasonal shea butter that I sell. I do a seasonal shea butter. If you go to masculineidentity.com, you can check out the shea butter. It's sold out now, but you can check it out. But yeah, I do a seasonal shea butter. I did it for the first year this year. I'm gonna be doing it again starting this fall. So yeah, but me personally, I use shea butter year round. I whip my own shea butter. And I keep my shit moisturized. That's why I look so handsome on the camera right now.
Yeah, let me say this about shea butter. I got shea butter soap too. Also, you put oatmeal in your soap?
Nah, I use shea butter in the soap. Matter of fact, look, can you see all the
Okay, I see.
ingredients?
There we go. Shea butter, coconut, and coconut oil is the truth. Let me just say that. Look, guys, look real quick. What you put on your skin matters because this is why I say that. Because a lot of lotion is water based. At least talking about lotion. A lot of lotion is water based. The problem with that is the moment you put that shit on and you go outside, let a swift breeze come by and hit them elbows. You're gonna be ashy again.
It's gone. And honestly, and look, guys, let's see if I could. Everything in my soap is edible. Everything in my soap is edible, of course, except for lye, because lye is what you use. Lye is just a natural ingredient to actually make soap. But every single thing in my shea butter is 100% natural and edible, meaning that because they say that if you can't put it on your skin, you shouldn't put it in your mouth. You understand? So this is, it's soap, so I have to use lye. But even my shea butter is edible. You understand? Everything I use for my products is 100% natural and edible. I render you see where it says grass-fed beef tallow? I render the tallow myself from grass-fed beef. Like I literally go to the butcher, I go to Whole Foods, I go to the butcher section, and I get beef tallow. I get beef fat, and then I render it myself. You understand? And it turns into like a solid butter, and I use that to make my soap, and I use that.
You got real handmade soap. That's that real handmade.
My shit, I don't play with my shit, bro. I don't play with my shit. I come like my pops makes herbal tonics, and he's painstaking when it comes to that shit. And I'm sort of the same way when it comes to my soap and my shea butter. I don't play games, because the reason why I started making soap and shea butter in the first place is because so many other things on the market are not good for your skin, is not good for your body. You understand what I'm saying? And my biggest fan of my shea butter and my soap is my lady. Yep. You understand? And she has wonderful skin, and she smells so damn. She smells so good when she come around, nigga. It's a beautiful thing. So so I'm saying if I wouldn't put it on my skin and I wouldn't put it on my lady's skin, then I wouldn't sell it to y'all. You get what I'm saying?
Hey, and I'm a testament. Hey, I use that soap. That's some dope soap. But let me speak to this, because they got coconut oil in this shit. Look, this is 100% purified. You can cook with this. You can put this on your skin. Also, guys, for you guys that be having sex with women who aren't that sexually attracted to you, this is you can also use this to you can also use this to loosen it up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, for you guys that use that KV shit,
facts.
You can use this for this too. This is a women-owned product, so you can also use this as a lubricant. Facts. You know what I'm saying? And for you nasty niggas, you know what I'm saying? You can also jack off with this shit too. I'm just saying, but you can cook with this shit. This is edible, and it's good for your skin too.
Oh man. But yeah, so it's over 9K. Look out for my shea butter in the fall, because again, and the reason why I only sell my shea butter in the fall is strictly based on temperature. You understand? Strictly based on temperature, because once I ship it, it's warm outside. Once I ship it, by the time it get to you, it'll be liquid. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I only do my shea butter in the fall and the winter.
Yep. There you go. You said, what's the name of it? Oh, this is Butcher Boy. You can find it at any grocery store. You know what I'm saying? But you get it at Walmart, I'm sure. Butcher Boy. But my ex put me on to that. My ex put me on to that. So when we parted ways, I'm like, I remember that shit. Let me snatch that up right quick. let me, she's the buffer brother. Well, you know what I'm saying? Let me snatch that up right quick. So there we go. Monogamous, yeah. Great for coconut oil massages too. Yeah, bro. Yes.
Shout out to monogamous. Facts.
Yes.
Now, and that's a wonderful thing too. And this is why, like, I think people need to really like ease up on the the dramatization and the leaning into the trauma shit, because I think back to a lot of my old relationships and, women who came into my life and who are not in my life. And then I think about the wealth of knowledge and certain things that I know today that I didn't know before, that came from those same relationships. Like I think about the music that I discovered from dealing with certain women. You understand? I think about, shit, even understanding, certain things about shea butter and certain other things, and certain the way that I think these days based on experiences. Like different relationships provide different experiences. There's a way that a person has been brought up where you might learn something new and different about yourself and about the world just from being in a relationship. So a lot of times, they not with a kind of, well, no, that's no.
It's got to be raw sex, baby. We're talking about raw sex.
Yeah. That's if you and the person in a real relationship.
Yeah. But guys, a real relationship. We ain't talking about you guys that met a chick last night. Not y'all.
No, not y'all. So yeah, but he sound like he's speaking from experience, like a condom popped with the coconut oil or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, I think as people we need to be a little bit more like appreciative and grateful in general. When it comes to relationships. Limitless says, "I'm not going through all of that to sell y'all shea butter, bro. I'm not doing it."
And if he did, I'm pretty sure the price would blown up on y'all niggas real quick.
I would have to raise the price, and none of y'all will buy the shit. Because truth be told, y'all some cheap motherfuckers. Let's be real. Then with that being said, make sure y'all go to masculineidentity.com to go take advantage of the Father's Day sale. Go get your soap. And when you get to the checkout page, go to the part where it says discount code, type in the word father, and you'll get 15% off of your soap order. All right, your entire order. So if you order you can order 6 bars, 10 bars, whatever, and you get 15% off that order. So make sure y'all go check that out.
There you go. What were you saying, Miles?
Oh, I was just saying, I just think people in general need to be more have more gratitude and stop being like such drama queens when it comes to relationships ending, because each relationship you should learn something and it should make you better than you were before. Even if the relationship didn't end so well, because if you can appreciate a good experience, you should be able to appreciate a bad experience.
Facts. I agree with that.
Quote unquote bad experience, because everybody think life is just about being happy and going through the good times. No, life is about the entire spectrum of experiences and feelings and knowledge and wisdom and all of the things that we've been through. All of the things that we go through is what makes us who we are. And some of it is not trauma, it's just information. I think people fucking, they romanticize and make everything just so dramatic and negative. And it's like, it's not necessary, bro. It's really not necessary. A lot of times life is there to show you certain things that you may, like, for example, I spent the night in prison. I spent one night in prison. And as God is my witness, I'm grateful for that experience. I know it don't sound, I was wrongfully put in prison too, wrongfully. But what I'm saying is I'm thankful for that experience because, practically speaking, it's like, damn, I never have to say, man, I wonder what it's like to be in prison. You get what I'm saying? Like, I never have to wonder about that because I've done it. I've experienced it. You understand? And even though it wasn't the best experience of my life, there are things about it that I can appreciate. And I think that even that in itself has a lot to do with understanding masculinity, because if you're objective, you can take away what you need from any given situation, whether good or bad, and use it to make you a more well-rounded, stronger person. You understand? To add it to your masculine identity, so to speak. But if y'all want to call in, 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392. Go ahead and call in, guys. What we got? We got about a half hour, 20 minutes left. Make sure y'all call in, 919-647-9392, 919-647-9392.
Bro, I spent a week in county jail And I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed because some of the correctional officers that worked there, when they saw me, they was like twin. I got a twin brother.
Right.
And I was like, God damn, niggas know me up in this motherfucker. Right. So I was embarrassed, but also because I was there for so long. When I say so, it wasn't long. It was like a week, like 6-7 days. Because I was there for that time. I had to work in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So I had to work for free. Bro, I was so pissed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But that experience said, nah, I can't do this.
Right.
This ain't for me. I can't do this shit. So but that's all it took for me to get my motherfucking mind right. We're like, nah, this I don't see how niggas can do this shit for years and then fuck up and come back again. I don't see how niggas can do it. And when you're in county jail, bro, I don't know if you were there long enough, Miles, for them to change your clothes out with the shit that got the orange jumpsuit. But when you got to put on the county jumpsuit, you got to wear another nigga's drawers, bro. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't fun, bro. It ain't fun. So let me see this right quick. You did 60 days, nigga. Shit, that's too long. 7 days was long enough for me, bro.
Nigga, one night was good enough for me, nigga. One fucking night was good enough for me, nigga. And let me tell you, I was in a regional jail. I was in a regional jail in a southern state. So it wasn't like when you be in central booking for the weekend and them niggas gave me the fucking jumpsuit and everything. I had on the yellow jumpsuit shackled at my ankles to my waist to my fucking, like I'm when you walk, you gotta shuffle like this.
But everybody, because you hooked to a chain gang.
Yeah, you hooked to a fucking chain, bro. Like and it's 55 fucking degrees in the prison. 55 degrees everywhere. They claim it's to lower bacteria and
germs and all that. Yeah.
And to keep germs down, but I think it's a psychological thing, bro. Because the jumpsuit they give you is short sleeve. You understand? The jumpsuit they give you is short sleeve. So you're sitting in there in the fucking cell and it's cold as shit.
And that shit is metal, like the bench.
Everything is
so you're cold as you're like this. You're trying to tuck your sleeves in so you won't be cold and shit. And then they feed you fucking bologna and all this nasty shit.
I ain't even eat the food, bro. I ain't even eat the food. That shit was, oh my God. They gave me something that looked like eggs. The shit was runny and disgusting. Bro, I was, man. And then even when they put us in the, they arraigned me. So they put me in the van. Even in the van, they have the AC all the way down. In that motherfucker on full blast. The fan is full blast. Yo, that's why you see, when you see police officers in vehicles, you see them in fucking jackets. Even on a hot day, you see them in jackets, because when they're transporting prisoners, they got to keep the AC on AC max. And I honestly think it's a psychological thing, bro.
I think it is too. It's kind of like they're defeating you. It's like kind of like letting you know that you ain't in control at all.
Exactly. Scales Fitness with a $5 super chat. He says, I did 5 years my first bid, 3.5 my second bid. I've been out since 06. I changed my life. Nigga, you better change your fucking life. Yo, prison, jail, whatever you want to call it, ain't really no place for a real nigga, man. You need your freedom, bro. You need your freedom. You need your fucking freedom, man. I'm telling you.
Look. I'm reformed. Thanks to Bear County jails. I'm reformed.
I think we got Monogamous play on the line. Monogamous, what's going on with you, bro?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, KZ? What's up, Miles?
And I got you. Yeah, Miles. I got your donation, bro. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Hey, this is just a great topic. I'm just catching the end of this show, and y'all just talking about this. In life, everything is not jolly. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not going to be on the up and up. Sometimes you have to go through. For example, a mountaintop is only there because there's a valley, right? So where every mountaintop, there's a valley. So there's going to be some strength building that you're going to have to go through in order for you to maintain the next level, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of learning, right? So I remember this, and I ain't gonna lie, like this one situation made me learn a whole lot, and it kind of changed how I move in like my totality, right?
Right.
See, when I was in college, right, and even in high school, like I always been like a popular, cool nigga. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And in college, like I was like there was a part of my life to where like I thought everybody was like my friend. You see what I'm saying? Because just because everybody's smiling and you kind of like the joy of the, like they used to call me Dan the party man in college.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I guess I just kind of, brought that aura to the party or just wherever I went. So I kind of like had like this happiness that was just always around me, right? So I kind of thought that everybody was cool with me like that, right?
Right.
So that was very naive of me because not everybody is cool with me like that. You know what I'm saying? And like now I understand that, okay, I have a handful of like really, really close friends, but everybody else is just either good people I know or associates or whatever the case may be. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to move and to label people how I need to label them, right? But long story short, I was in college and I was going through that motion of, oh, I'm in a fraternity, everybody fuck with me, everything is cool, da-da-da, woo-woo, right?
Right.
So I thought that I was going to transfer to another college, right? So I went back home, which I didn't, but I went back home to just go, take that college visit to see if I wanted to do that, right? So it's this one dude, and I used to, smoke weed and shit in college, right?
Right.
So this one dude, he used to sell it to me, right? And he was from my hometown, Houston, right? And once again, him and I, we built up a cool little rapport, but I'm not really close to him like that. But in my mind, everybody's cool, it's all good, right? So he was like, hey, bro, hey, I know you're going back to Houston. Like, hey, man, shit, like in college, a big thing was like everybody carpooling to go back home and we help each other drive, right?
Right.
So because I've heard that, like, oh, he's going to help me drive, da-da-da, I'm not looking at the totality of what he was trying to go back for, right? But he's trying to go back to score some more drugs and to take it back up to, you know what I'm saying, to our college time, right? But I'm so naive and dumb, I'm not looking at it like that, right? So long story short, we go, or whatever the case may be, and then it was time for us to come back. So I picked him up, and he took the first leg, and I was going to take the second leg, right? Mind you, this is around the time when I was in college smoking weed. I'm doing dumb shit like smoking weed in the car, even though I'm about to get on the highway. You know, the highway got nothing but state troopers, especially out here in Texas.
Right.
I know K-Zag can know that. You see what I'm saying? So,
and real quick, if anybody don't know anything about Texas, state troopers, they double up. What I mean by double up, if you see one on this stretch of the highway, there's another one on the opposite side. They always do that shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So him and I, you know what I'm saying? Like we smoking in the car, and then, you know what I'm saying, we on the way, right? So we on I-45. So we get pulled over by a state trooper, and mind you, he had like the little small packet of drugs that he had, right? So he hid it or whatnot, but then the police pulled us over, so we trying to throw the weed out and all that. And of course, the car smells like it, so it's really no hiding, right? So the police was like, hey, we already know there's some more drugs in this car. We're going to search everything, right? Mind you, he has the other drugs that's not weed. So I'm looking at him while we both handcuffed. I'm like, bro, I'm a college student, bro. I can't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, man, don't worry about it. I'm just going to take it because it's mine or whatever. And once again, he was in the streets. He was just in the town or whatever, right? Hanging with the niggas that go to college. So he ended up going to jail for like a night or whatever. And when I'm on the way back, I'm hitting up his boys to let them know what happened. So they looking at me like, wait a minute, he going to jail, but you not in jail.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they looking at me like, oh, you snitched or whatever the case may be, or, you know what I'm saying? They looking at me like that, right? So I get back to college, and I end up going out maybe like that Friday night. Mind you, I'm in a fraternity, so I'm with my line brothers and niggas that cross with me. And one of my fraternity members, I didn't cross with him. He's a little older, but he's a part of the clique that was mad at me, supposedly, right?
Okay.
So they coming at me at the club, so they wanted to talk to me outside and stuff like that. So I'm telling them what happened and all that. So one of them end up, turning up on me. Mind you, this is a nigga that 2 weeks ago, man, Dan the party man, you the truth. This is back when snapbacks was hot. And I used to always have like the flyest snapback. So niggas would want to buy my snapback off my head, right?
Wow. Yeah.
He was one of them type of niggas. So I'm thinking that, so they kind of turning up on me, right? So I look at my frat member that was a part of the clique, and I'm like, damn, so y'all really think, like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all literally looking at me like this? And he kind of shrugged his shoulders like, hey, it is what it is. So that let me know. I'm like, oh, shit. Niggas ain't as, you know what I'm saying? Shit ain't as sweet.
Frat brothers don't give a fuck. Frat brothers don't give a fuck about you, nigga. Know that, nigga.
Right. They don't give a fuck about you. But mind you, this is a nigga that I used to hang out with before I joined the fraternity, right? we the same age when he joined first, and then I joined after him, right? But once I joined, of course, I'm closer to the niggas that I went through the bullshit with.
Right.
So I'm hanging with them niggas or whatnot. So Dan, we don't hang out as much. They don't woo woo. But then he looking at me like, hey, if street shit gotta go down, that's what has to happen, right?
Right.
So I go back into the club. So mind you, like I'm from the street, even though I'm not a street nigga, but I know how to move, right?
Right.
So mind you, like I'm my eyes is moving in the club, right? So I'm looking around, and one of the niggas that was supposed to be cool with me, he started standing by me, right? So I say, hey, Dez, what's good, bro? Everything good? Or whatever I said to him. He didn't say nothing. He was just looking real scared. But he was just standing by me, like looking down.
Right.
So that made me look up. So I looked around, and then one of the niggas that turned up on me outside, he was talking to the other hood niggas, and they was like pointing me like, yeah. And these other hood niggas, I went to OU. So these niggas was from Oklahoma City. You know, Oklahoma City got a lot of gangs and that type of shit up there, right?
Yeah.
You know about it.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I immediately told because I ain't gonna lie, bro, my frat brothers, like, even though they'll get down, we some college niggas on females, bro. Them niggas, and they drunk, and they're
not about that life. They're not about that life, bro. They're not about that life.
We're not about that life, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'll get down like a motherfucker, but I'm not about that life too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's life or death. Then I'm gonna attack you.
Right.
So I immediately told them niggas, I said, hey, bro, we got to get the fuck up out of here. One of my frat members, he used to be a gang member, so he's about that life, but he was changing his life. So I could see it in his eyes, like, I bet. I ain't gonna ask no questions. We getting the fuck up out. And that's why I fuck with the niggas, because they ain't ask no questions. If one of your boys is in the club and they say, hey, bro, we got to get the fuck up out of here. Don't ask no questions, bro.
Exactly.
Get the fuck up out of there.
Exactly.
Ask later.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So we got the fuck up out of there. And when we did that, the niggas was kind of like, falling up to the door, throwing up signs, or, just doing all that shit, right? So then later down the line, the nigga got out, and then he cleared everything up, and then everybody want to come back to me. Oh, D, he wasn't trying to come to you like that, and it was a misunderstanding. But nah, at that point, I'm already kind of paranoid, but in a good way, because that showed me that, okay, not everybody is cool with me like that. So why am I first of all, why even got a nigga in my car transporting drugs? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Let alone a nigga I'm not even that cool with.
Exactly.
So that slowed me all the way down. Also, it slowed me down on smoking weed in the car, smoking weed with different people. It just really showed me a different part of my life, to where I realized, like, okay, as a man, understanding my masculinity, life ain't that sweet.
Right.
So you got to know who you really fuck with and who you don't.
Exactly.
So a lot of people, I'm cool with a lot of people, but it's high and by.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's respect. But you're not going to see me this with anybody. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But of course, college, I had to go through that, because when you thinking we're in a college town, everybody is lit. You feel me? I'm lit. But I had to go through that. You see what I'm saying? And once again, I ain't never been jumped in my life, but I almost got jumped that night. But of course, I thank God for allowing me to utilize my instinct to get the fuck up out of there.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But that was just something I had to learn.
But yeah, and that's masculine identity shit, nigga. That's you making mistakes and then taking from the situation what you needed to learn. So at this point, it's like, yeah, I don't fuck with niggas that transport drugs. I don't fuck with niggas that's on that gang shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know. Yeah. See, the thing is, sometimes to learn who we are, we gotta find ourselves in certain experiences. And if we're lucky enough to live through the fucking experience, then we can use the experience to fine tune and customize our masculine identity. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what that's about.
True.
Well, that, and also when you get in certain predicaments, you will find out real quick that everybody ain't your boy, everybody ain't your friend. And oftentimes the only reason why you even seem like you have a friendship with dudes, because y'all got something in common. Maybe you smoke weed together. Maybe you get at women together. Maybe you play Madden together, or whatever it is. But if you take away this one little thing y'all got in common, y'all really ain't cool like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. If you really think about it. Like, exactly. If you ain't hanging around with people's family members and kicking it like that, and you actually been through some real shit together, I ain't talking about no bunch of criminal shit. I'm talking about just some real shit where you guys have a profound understanding for who you are as individuals, and you still ride with each other, then you really ain't friends. You're just acquaintances and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went through that college shit. Like, I don't know what it is with me, bro. But like, you know, when you just always had a real nigga vibe inside you from the beginning.
Right.
Because I'm on the college campus, and I had, I had a cat that I got into college with, that I went to high school with, and we was cool, and we, you walking through the campus first week or whatever, and these niggas is coming at you talking about, yo, we're a fraternity, and your brothers are your brothers for life, and blah blah blah. And these niggas seem so fake. I'm like, y'all niggas don't know me from a can of paint. Fuck you talking about brothers for life. I don't know you, nigga. I don't know you. Oh yeah, come by the frat house and maybe you want to pledge and maybe you want to this, and I just was never with that shit, bro. Never. I'm like, bro, I'm so much of an individual. I could never get with that shit. Shout out to Danny P for the $9.99 super chat in the building. Yes, sir.
A lot of that fraternity shit, it's bullshit. And I'm gonna tell you this: to me, in my opinion, right, the only halfway decent thing about fraternities, if you happen to go for a job and someone is in your fraternity and they hiring, then they gonna give it to you, even if you don't have the same qualifications as everybody. That's the only kind of good thing about that shit.
Yeah, a little bit of networking, a little bit of nepotism, if you know how to work it, can go a long way. But to say niggas is actually your friends, nah, bro, nah.
They don't give a fuck about you, bro.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not, yeah. And then also, guys, I also want to say this too, because I think a lot of people, when they correlate, there are certain people that's not going to be in your life no more. They only in your life for a season.
Right.
I think a lot of people only correlate that with like negatives. And it could be that, but also in life, it also showed me that. That's why I try not to take things for granted. There's a lot of people, a lot of good people that's going to come in your life that's only going to be in your life for a season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, our life, and this is what people need to get real quick. Both men and women need to understand your life is going to be a revolving door.
Exactly.
For family members too, right? See, a lot of people, they are addicted to feeling a certain way. Meaning when they meet certain people, they like the feeling of having that person around or whatever. So they get addicted to that feeling, right? Or they become codependent or attached to that feeling that is related to that person. So when that person leaves, they feel like a piece of them is missing because that person left, right? But that's a mindset thing. Like, that's why when people, and Miles, you alluded to it earlier, when relationships end, people act like their world is gone and shit. Right. I'm like, bro, you were fine before you met that person.
Exactly.
Right? You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Now, it might, you might be disappointed. You might be a little hurt because maybe things ended in a very negative way and all of that. But you should shake that shit off. And then be like, you know what? Hey, and my thing is, there's lessons in everything, right? There's lessons in everything. Right. The problem with people is when you're used to things going your way all the time, you never really learn any real valuable lessons from things going your way.
Exactly.
The only time you really learn shit is when you have challenges, right? Is when you have shit happens, because then you learn to understand what you did wrong. But you also learn a lot about your character, right? You learn a lot about how fragile your mentality is. Okay, you learn about how emotionally immature you are, right? And then you can toughen up and you can learn from all of that shit and you can make better decisions, but also you have discernment. You have the ability to see things that you couldn't see before, right? So this is why when people say, oh, I got trust issues. No, you don't got trust issues. You have discernment issues, right? You have the inability to vet people properly issues, right? Because people, they tend to attach trust with feelings. Because I feel strongly about this individual, I automatically trust them, right? This is where we learn to logic shit and be practical and have pragmatism in our decision making. A lot of people, they lack that, but y'all got it, man.
Go ahead, monogamous. Yeah. I'll let you finish up.
Yeah, but that's all I really had to say, guys. That's all I had to say, man. Life is, it's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a lot of learning. It's going to be a lot of strength building.
Facts.
But hey, if life was perfect, it would be worth living.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all, guys.
All right, man. Appreciate you, monogamous. Have a good weekend, brother. And shout out to you for completing another year of, teaching the next generation, bro. We appreciate you.
Right. Appreciate you, monogamous. Do your thing, fam.
All right. Take it easy, brother. All right. So I think we got 50 Fitzwell on the line. 50, what's going on with you?
Doing good. How are y'all?
You good there? You good, bro?
What's going on, Unc?
Well,
Clear your throat, nigga.
I
Clear out the cobwebs, nigga. Goddamn.
Right now, what it is that I don't smoke in paper. I use glass, so I get the straight hit.
Okay. Yo, everybody's smoking this Saturday. What the y'all niggas is out here again?
That's the first thing I was thinking about. Was he smoking a cigar or something?
I don't know.
Smoking,
So that glass that you're smoking on, I hope it has a masculine shape to it, bro. You know what I'm
well, see, that's the thing. It's the crest of a woman.
All right.
What's what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, y'all telling war stories. I got one for you, man, and it's just about me being like you said, masculine, just knowing what a man is and being responsible as a man. As a young man, a man. So starting off in the projects, New York, I got arrested on Martin Luther King Day when I was 16 for joyriding in a car.
Dang.
Right? And if y'all know anything about New York, Cut 'em Loose Bruce was on the bench back then. Bruce Wright was a guy that it was night court too. So people in front of us, this dude smacked his wife up. He got probation. Dude ran into a 7-Eleven, something. He got probation. This dude did not care. He hated the system. So when we came up, the auto crew, everybody got out except the driver. He stayed. So got out of that. Then when I got in the military, I got in some trouble. I was bringing drugs in, right? But I got out of that. And that was interesting because people wanted to know, like, a lot of people stayed away from it. It's like prison. When you busted, you carry, when you're in the military and something big happened on base, everybody know who everybody is. So you're sitting in the chow hall, and I'm sitting there eating by myself. And it was like a civilian mix, because I was at a naval hospital in Bethesda, so it was a civilian mix of people. And I was a junior enlisted guy. I was sitting there eating. And the guys that ran the chow hall were enlisted, and they had other jobs, but they ran the chow hall, took the money and all that. They was in the back all the time after they got through doing. And they were always waving me back. Come on back. I was like, nah. Finally, they came up and got me. I was like, fuck. And it's very interesting because most people didn't want to fuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who had other shit going on base, these niggas, they set me down. I was eating my lunch. One was on the right, one was on the left. And they said, yo, what's up, white? Everything all right? Yeah. Who do you know? Because I got busted for a drug, the black guy. The poor white people got, oh, God, they got mushed all in the face. I walk out of there with a fucking honorable discharge. Who the fuck are you? Yeah, I told the recruiter that, and guy, he was like, nah, that's impossible. I'll buy you lunch if that's okay. I showed him my paperwork. He was like, all right, here's $50. And he called his boy, yo, he got an RE4 and honorable discharge. He hung up the phone and said, who do you know? I was like, what the fuck's going on? My point is this. I rock alone. Even when I got busted outside of the military, years later, I got busted on a weed charge. That shit was expunged. So I'm just saying that when you
get lucky left and right, brother.
Moving alone, nobody's other shit matters that can shape your own circumstances. When I got busted, anytime I took full responsibility. Yeah, that's mine. I have faith that whatever this is, it's gonna pass and I'm gonna get through it. It's for the 50 years and 60 years of my life, man, that has been going on. And I think it's because, number one, I don't do fuck shit. But number two, I don't be with people who do fuck shit.
Right.
Because even in my practice, just because I have letters behind my name, every so often, one of these fucking frustrated government workers, hey man, can you write me a note for like 2 months off? Bitch, get the fuck out of here. That's not what I do.
Right.
So, knowing who you are, that identity, shout out to Miles Cunningham, the masculine identity. You know who you are, you know who you move. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you do want to do it, do it. Now, if anything comes behind that, that's on you. That's the masculine part. That's you knowing who you are, how to handle whatever is going to come down the road at you.
Exactly. Real talk, man. All right,
that's my war story.
We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you for calling in and contributing to the conversation, man. Keep smoking, man.
So,
I'm about to hit it up again. All right, well, Texas. Shout out to Texas. Y'all gonna succeed in a minute. All right, peace.
Peace.
Stupid. We good on calls?
Yeah, we good on calls.
Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. For anyone that's currently in the military or endeavoring to go in the military, Mr. Fitzwell got lucky. I knew a guy, he was in the Air Force, and he called himself trying to be a street pharmacist while he was in the Air Force. Not only did they give him a dishonorable discharge and kick his ass out the military, but he went to the stockade, which is prison. Look, let me tell y'all something, right? When when they discharge you from the military, if you get an honorable discharge, you're fine. If you get a dishonorable discharge, that shit stays on your record for life. If you try to get a job anywhere and they see that shit on your record, you're damn near fucked. I'm just letting you know, you're damn near fucked. They kicked you out the military, you did something fucked up. You do not play with the government. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna join the military, you better keep your nose clean. Don't get your. I know a couple of people that got dishonorably discharged. That shit will follow you for life. You know what I'm saying? So, like he said, Darius said it's over. Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. So yeah. So don't fuck up because a lot of times when you fuck up with these civilian jobs, that shit really don't follow you like that.
Yeah.
But when you fuck up with the government
job, you done.
Shit.
You gotta be careful.
Don't fuck up. Devontae, I'm not going to answer that question, fam, because I know you watch us, and we've said that multiple times. I know you watch L, and I know you watch Miles. So this is what I mean by information, how y'all listen to us so much, and a lot of times we end up repeating ourselves frequently, right? So, bro, we're not going to keep answering the same questions over and over again, fam. So just do what you got to do, nigga. But hold on. So we're going to go to this question right here. But I think it's a more valid question. So how do you deconstruct your mind? My thoughts are twisted. Well, you gotta, bro, let me say this, guys. You gotta ask yourself, what do you want out of life that's independent of what other people might think about you? Okay, let me say that again. You gotta ask yourself, what do you want out of life that's independent of what others may think about you? Meaning, as long as you care what other people think about you, you will never be able to deconstruct your mindset. Because you are literally, your mind is enshackled. You're enslaved with other people's opinions, right? So you need to stop caring what other people think, including your own parents. You gotta literally not give a fuck. Now, you can still respect people's opinions, but that don't mean you have to live your life based on being concerned with what they think about you. You got to stop giving a fuck and live your life for you. Look, let me tell you something. God bless the dead. I remember my mom used to always tell me, she's like, Karen, you got to care what your family think about some of the decisions you make. No, I don't. Okay. And even when I first started having kids, my mom would have her little opinion. I'm like, hey, and I'll tell my mom to her face, hey, mom, you had your chance to be a mother and raise your kids. Your time is done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's over for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm like, you could be a grandmother, but as far as like being a mother, I'm not a kid anymore. So your influence isn't what it used to be when I was a kid. I'm a grown man now. And I told my mom, you did a fine job. You did a great job. But your time is done, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't really need your opinion like that, right? So you can have your opinion, but I'm not really gonna make any decisions based on it. Right. And it would piss her off, and I would say that shit, right? And I would just shrug my shoulders. I'm like, and I would tell her, this too shall pass. You'll get over it, mama. You know what I'm saying? But she used to because my brother didn't talk to her like that. My brother's like, yes, mom. I'm like, shit, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? So your mind, you could be respectful of other people's opinions, but you can be like, I respect your opinion, but I respectfully refuse to adhere to your shit. Right. Okay, I'm not taking none of what you say into account.
Real talk.
Yeah, I cut the umbilical cord. Yeah, right away. That's why I moved out when I was a teenager, bro. Because my mom and dad used to always tell me, if you don't like the rules, get the fuck out. So guess what I did? I got the fuck out.
Facts.
So come on, man.
Yeah, my parents started singing that song when I hit 20. They started singing that. I was out at age 20.
Yeah, you gotta see, and that's when you This is why I can't understand how niggas be living with their parents until they into their late 20s and 30s. Bro, I can't do it. Bro.
Well, some people can if you have a plan and a reason to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I know a guy who he got married and stayed at his mom's house. Him and his wife got married and respectively stayed at their parents' house until they were like 30 years old, right? But when they actually moved into their house, guess who was their next door fucking neighbor?
No.
A-Rod from the fucking Yankees.
Oh, that's the one you said where they stack their cheese.
They stacked their fucking bread.
Okay,
So
all right. I see the plan.
They had a reason and a plan. So the house they moved into upon leaving their parents' house was a fucking mansion that it took a fucking 3 to 5 minute drive to get from the front gate to the front door. You understand? On a big fucking piece of property. And like I said, a New York Yankee was their goddamn neighbor, my nigga. You see what I'm saying? So that's when you got a real purpose. They stacked their bread because I think they got married in their early 20s and they stacked their bread for like the next 6-7 years. Hard body. And put a down payment on a fucking sick ass mansion.
See that? That makes sense. And I know other cultures of people more so than we. They actually do that, right? And let me just say this as an aside.
And of course, the people I'm talking about did not look like me. No.
And I'm about to make a point with that. I'm about to make a point because other cultures do that. So what I've seen, right? 'Cause I used to work in the mortgage industry. Mm-hmm. And what I saw them do, they would and I'm not saying black people don't do it, but other races of people would do what they would do is they would get a security deposit, and it would be a collateral. So an example would be, let's say for a marriage gift, right? They would get a security deposit, like the family would get a security deposit, and they would basically secure a home for husband and wife, right? But the father or the parents, they would get a security deposit and use that as collateral for the couple, so they don't have to put up a down payment, right? They can take that money and maybe get furniture with it or something like that. But let me take it a step further. A lot of times they would the parents of the father, the parents of the husband or the wife, they would take a loan out in equity. They would take the equity out the property out of their home.
Yeah.
And they would put their kids through college with that. Yeah. And the reason why they would do that is so the children wouldn't have any debt when they graduated from college, right? So imagine you don't have any debt. You don't have any student loan debt. So now you're able to take that money and put it towards a house, like you said with the people, because you don't have no debt, right? Mm-hmm. So the problem with people who look like us and other people is they already got debt right out the gate. So home ownership is a little more difficult for them, right? Mm-hmm. So when you talk about having a plan, not only do you have to have a plan presently, but you have to be able to look into the future, 5, 10, 15 years into the future, and think about how you're gonna work your debt. Okay, am I gonna have debt where I just have home ownership debt, or am I gonna have debt where I have because you got people that have $100,000 in student loan debt, and they're just making 40, 45 a year. Mm-hmm. But they got all that fucking debt. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when they go to try and do certain things, their credit is already in peril because all that fucking debt they got, and their debt to income ratio is off because they owe more than what they bring in.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, man, that's a whole nother fucking video and shit.
Yeah.
But we good on calls though?
Yeah, we good on calls. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know if we have any more questions or anything.
Yeah. We got some. I'm about to snatch them up right now.
All right, let's get them.
Okay, so he says, how to reject a woman without hurting her feelings when she approaches. Why did you care about hurting her feelings? See, and let me just say this about some of these questions y'all be having. A lot of these questions y'all have are hypotheticals. They're not real questions where you really are experiencing the things that you're asking. Right. Y'all ask questions that are closely related to things you actually really experience. Because if you were really experiencing women coming up to you, right? Because a lot of you guys, women have never approached you a day in your fucking life, right? Okay, that's some real shit. And for some of you other guys, maybe you've been approached maybe once in like 10 years, right? So this type of question would really be for a guy that get approached with regularity. Like a chick is approaching you maybe once or twice a week, and you get approached on a regular basis. The average guy, you're not being approached like that. Okay, you're not. Okay, and this is how I know you're asking this question more as a hypothetical than a real situation that you've experienced, right? Because I've been approached, right? And I'm gonna tell you, okay, I just tell women I'm not interested.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about hurting her feelings. I'm not interested. Hey, you know what, Shorty? I'm not interested, but I appreciate you. I've had women invite me places. Hey, what's your name? My name is such and such. Hey, you know, I'm having a Christmas party, like a coworker. I'm having a Christmas party, or I got invited to a Christmas party. I would like for you to be my date. Nah, I'm not gonna make it to that Christmas party, but I appreciate the invite. I don't think about hurting her feelings. No, the answer is no. But anyway, Miles, you got anything you want to add to that film before we hop to the next one?
Ivan Malco, ain't no bitches approaching you that much that you need to worry about.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come
stop it. Just stop it. Next.
Stop with these hypothetical questions. So he says, bro, why do you, and I hate when people ask, why do I? Nigga, we don't know you. we don't know you. We don't know why you do. I mean, I probably can tell you based on your question. Why do I have to say to approach a woman around people? I'm gonna be honest. I don't like to be ignored, especially in public. He answered, bro, you answered your own question. He says, why do I hesitate to approach women? And then you just answered it because you say you don't like being ignored, especially in public. But look, let me tell you how super confident I am. I love approaching women, not only in groups, but when they're around other people. I think I'm so fly. This is some real shit. I think I'm so fly. If other women are hearing me say what I'm saying to that woman, they're like, "Oh, I like what he said," right? And if other dudes are hearing me, they're breaking out napkins, writing shit down. Like, I'm gonna use that. That's how I feel about what I say to women.
Right.
Is other women like what I'm saying, and other dudes are writing that shit down, I might be able to use that shit. Right? I don't care about people overhearing me and all that. See, if you're worrying about other people overhearing you, that means you have self-esteem issues. You feel insecure about shit, and you're not self-assured. And you're worried about what other people might say about what you're saying. So it doesn't matter if you approach a group or if you approach a woman by herself.
Right.
Those things, those issues you have still exist. You got something you want to add to that, Miles?
You hit it on the head. He's just scared because he don't like being ignored. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a damn what people think. Okay, that's pretty much it. 50 Feelwell said some shit. All right, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it with the questions. Hold on real quick. Got another one right here that popped up in there. I approached 7 women so far today. 4 gave me either Instagrams and 3 had boyfriends, but I got no numbers. What am I doing wrong? Again, niggas, we wasn't there.
You did 7. You only did 7. You got to do at least 25.
Yeah, but okay, but you said, okay, guys, let me just say this, guys. When you approach women, you have to already know what you want to do before you approach them. See, a lot of guys, you approach and you just hope you can walk away with some contact information. Like a lot of you guys, your main goal is to, how can I approach and not get rejected? That's right. Your mindset. Right. Is how can I approach and either not get rejected or lessen the likelihood of getting rejected? You have the wrong mindset, right? If I see a woman that I'm interested in, the only thing I concern myself with is making sure I say what I want to say. That's it. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. I don't care what the outcome is. I'm not going to walk away thinking about her. I'm not going to wake up in the morning thinking about her, right? So, but I already know what I want to do. If I know for a fact that my quest, if you will, is to offer her a date, I already know pretty much where I want to go. I know pretty much what my availability is, so I know pretty much what day or days and what time of that day that I'm available. I already got the information to give her, right? Okay, let me just say this real quick and I'm gonna pass it to Miles. And because I had a couple clients this week that I talked to about this. You guys should already have 2 or 3 places, 2 to 3 places that you frequent, that you can invite a woman to.
Facts.
2 to 3 places. You should already know the days of the week that these places are jumping, right? You should already know all of this, right? So let's say it's a Monday. You don't necessarily have to wait until Friday or Saturday to invite a woman. You can do shit during the week. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to do everything on a Friday or a Saturday. And what I mean by that is, what if you're off? What if your job is 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? But her job, maybe she's a nurse or something like that, and maybe she might work weekends here and there. So her seeing you on a weekend might not always be advantageous, right? So you might try to offer a date on a Friday or a Saturday, but she's free on a Wednesday or Thursday. And she might say, this Friday won't work, but if you're available Wednesday or Thursday at the same time, that might work. If you already know you got 2 or 3 places in mind, and one of them is jumping on a Wednesday or Thursday, you can immediately jump to that spot. Well, you know what? There is a spot that I frequent. Normally they're open, around this time. So if you're available, cool, we can make it happen. So you should have a plan B and a plan C for your plan A.
Right.
But if you don't deal with women, you ain't even gonna have any of that shit popping. Go ahead, fam.
I just want to say this. Why y'all waiting till the show is already 2 hours in to be asking all these fucking questions? Like, I'm not here for that shit, bro. It's Saturday, my nigga. Y'all niggas do this shit all the fucking time. That's already turned off the phone lines. I don't really want to sit here and answer y'all fucking questions after we've been here for 2 hours already and ain't nobody asked no fucking questions till now. I don't like that shit.
Yeah. And you could have called in. If y'all got in-depth questions or multiple questions, call in. It's too late now.
Because it's like we do our best to give y'all free access for the game and all that shit. But it's like y'all don't really. I don't know what's up with these.
Hey, Renee. See, there's no validity to this because anytime I do a show, the first thing I do is maybe an hour before I go to check to see if you put the comment in there with the Cash App links. So by virtue of that, I do be thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I wonder did Renee already put the links in there and shit, So I do be thinking about you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yo, why don't y'all just work that out, man? What the fuck is going on?
It's up to Renee. It's up to Renee. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Yeah.
Can you feel the sexual tension, Miles?
I can see it. I don't know if I feel anything.
Oh shit! Hilarious.
Nah, for real, man. Y'all niggas gotta stop this bullshit, bro. I'm not. Me personally, I'm ready to go. Kay, what you doing? Because I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to bounce. We're done. Now they're coming in with the questions left and right now, bro.
And niggas gonna hit us with all these questions now. No, bro. No. I'm sorry, man. Y'all niggas come on, man. Y'all niggas are the worst with this, bro. Like, stop, man.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas be killing us, man.
Guys, y'all know that we do this show for roughly 2 hours. That's it. Why y'all waiting until the hour and 58 minute and 13 second mark to say something, bro? Like, come on, man. But anyway, Miles, hey, man, it's been real. You got anything you want to plug before we get up out of here?
Go get your soap. Go to masculineidentity.com. Masculineidentity.com. Go get your soap. 15% off. Type in father in the discount code area. Father in the discount code. You get 15% off. All right. It's your boy, Miles Cunningham. Appreciate you, Zach, for having me. And yeah, man. Oh, tomorrow, 12 noon, Real Game No Theory. Tomorrow, 12 noon, Real Game No Theory.
Okay, real quick, guys. Renee P, always, girl, you always on time, girl. Right here. See, that's why I be thinking about you like that. Always on time and shit. I love a woman that's consistent.
Facts. Get your tickets to the documentary screening in Miami, October 26th. Make sure go to the Eventbrite page, read up on it, and then get your tickets, guys. We'll see y'all in Miami, October 26th.
Like the joint. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.